Ya, ngetes untuk video penutup di hari Rabu yang di sore hari Rabu yang mendung ini.
Town in Texas that the Silva method emerged. Jose Silva went on to sell 12 million copies of this book. There have been close to 6 million Silva graduates around the world. And the Silva method, in my opinion, is one of the most powerful meditation programs out there. Now, I want to tell you about this sign because this sign hangs in my wall, and it's a direct quote by Jose Silva. Every day and every way, I'm getting better, better, and better. Now, Mind Valley publishes so many of the world's top personal growth programs, but everything we do started with the Silva method. This was the first program I studied. It was the first program I got certified to teach. It was the first program we published on Mind Valley. It is that freaking good. And let me tell you why I love this Tex-Mex approach to meditation. When I was 14 years old, I discovered this book. My dad passed it on to me. This book changed my life. It showed me that there was so much more going on inside our heads, that there was this whole realm of being human that schools never bothered to teach us. It was about going within and using the tools that the Silva method had created to help you tap into altered states of mind, the alpha frequency of brain waves, the theta frequency of brain waves, and even the delta frequency. And when you're in these altered states, there are so many abilities that you can bring out. You can accelerate bodily healing. You can visualize your goals. You can reprogram behaviors and attitudes. And so from the age of 14, I started practicing the Silva method, and it shaped my life. So much so that after I left Silicon Valley, when I started Mind Valley was actually started because I was so in love with Silva. Jose Silva had passed away in 1999. I reached out to his family and I got permission to build a website to sell Silva CDs that guided you into these altered states of mind. That's really how Mind Valley began. So the Silva method was America's first personal growth program. It was also the program that gave birth to Mind Valley, that shaped my life. I went on to become a Silva instructor. I was teaching classes for 5 years across the world. And in 2016, Silva came fully into Mind Valley. Jose's children asked me to take their father's legacy and create an updated program for the world and to be the face of this program. I'm honored to have been asked to be the face of Silva, and our new program is called Silva Ultramind. So I created this free masterclass. It's about an hour plus of content, but it's really, really, really deep. And what you're going to learn in this masterclass goes way beyond what Jose Silva wrote in 1977. In around 1995, he updated his work shortly before he died. He died in 1999, and his updated work is called Silva Ultramind. This masterclass will teach you principles from the Silva method and Silva Ultramind and show you how to tap into altered states in a safe, easy, effective way to do everything from accelerate healing to improving your rate of synchronicity and coincidences in your life to mental reprogramming. This means being able to deal with shadows, with negative beliefs, being able to program new identities and new beliefs in your mind, the way you program a computer. So if you find these ideas interesting, check out the masterclass. It was our biggest masterclass of last year, and I just reshot the entire thing to update it once again for this year. Link is in the bio. And if you have studied the Silva method, or if this quote, every day in every way, I get better, better, and better, resonates with you, go ahead and leave a comment. Tell me about your Silva experience. Have you taken Silva on Mind Valley? Did you perhaps take a class in the 80s or 70s? I would love to know. You know, people sometimes ask me, what is my favorite style of meditation? Is it Chinese? Is it a meditation that originated from India? Is it Christian Gnostic meditation? And I always say my favorite meditation is Tex-Mex, much like guacamole or chipotle. My favorite style of meditation is literally Tex-Mex meditation. Let me explain. See this book, The Silva Mind Control Method by Jose Silva? This is what got me into meditation. Jose Silva lived in Laredo, Texas, on the Texas-Mexican border. And it was there in Laredo, a border town in Texas, that the Silva method emerged. Jose Silva went on to sell 12 million copies of this book. There have been close to 6 million Silva graduates around the world. And the Silva method, in my opinion, is one of the most powerful meditation programs out there. Now, I want to tell you about this sign, because this sign hangs in my wall, and it's a direct quote by Jose Silva. Every day and every way, I'm getting better, better, and better. Now,
Wisconsin's North Woods to explore the vast, over 1.5 million acre Chequamegon-Nicolet National Forest. We'll be soaking in local food, drinks, and fun as we visit Delta Diner, a traditional supper club, a beloved pizza place, and expend those calories log rolling, restoring a historic property, walking among cathedral pines, viewing elk, fishing, hiking, kayaking, mountain biking, and more. We're taking the road less traveled to visit the Mountain Fire Lookout Tower, located a few miles north of the small town of Mountain, Wisconsin. Ann Moletsky, who owns the local Spur of the Mountain branch, is giving me an introduction.
The tower itself is 100 feet tall. Up at the top, there's a 7-by-7-foot cab. It was built in 1935, and it was one of 96 towers in the state of Wisconsin, 72 of which were on public lands, and the rest were on private lands. In 2015 and 16, the people of Oconto County were the people that live here. We raised over $11,000.
Wow.
And we bought the materials that the Forest Service needed to rebuild it. They rebuilt the tower, and since then it's been open to the public.
So this is the last one that people can actually climb up.
Yes. Most of them have been decommissioned.
These are so neat. I mean, I've seen a couple of them. There aren't that many out there anymore.
No.
So it's a rare find, and the fact that you guys got together as a community to restore it, I mean, it's so nice for everybody because this is a piece of history.
It is. As you climb the tower, imagine going up there. You're a lone person. There's nobody else coming up here.
So these were their eyes in the sky.
These were their eyes in the sky, and that's all they had.
And it's quite a climb.
It's going to be quite a climb.
Here we go. Woohoo! It's a long way up. The tower was built in 1935 by the Forest Service and the Civilian Conservation Corps. This is your steps for the day, I think. My steps for the day. And was the first lookout tower in Wisconsin to be placed on the National Historic Lookout Register and the National Register of Historic Places. Ooh, this is tight. Oh my goodness. Oh, wow. It's so green. Everywhere it's so green. You can see a little dairy farm off in the distance, but really it's just all national forest around here. And this is a 360 view for sure. My reward for making the climb. Next, Anne is taking me to a very special area of the forest.
Welcome to Cathedral Pines. These trees are very old. The scientists that have studied them have thought that they started growing between 1735 and 1740.
Wow.
So before we were even a country.
They were here first.
They were here first. And this land was owned by William Holt, and he was married to Lucy Ramsey Holt. Lucy Ramsey Holt thought of this as a very spiritual place because she taught her children to read from the Bible up here, and she loved coming up here. She loved bringing them up here in the spring of the year. And so she begged her husband not to level it, and after she passed away, he gave it back to the Forest Service or let it stay natural, which is Cathedral Pines today.
So we're headed to church.
Can't think of a better one.
It's so neat to be in older forests like this because it does sound different. And the canopy is so thick above you, especially even when it's raining out a little, you're fine in here.
You don't feel it.
You don't feel it.
This is the oldest stand of pines in Wisconsin, and I think probably in the Midwest.
If you're visiting Wisconsin's Northwoods, you really have to visit a supper club. It's the quintessential experience. And this one I hear is genuine. Sherry Wilhelm and her family own and run this old-fashioned supper club, where you definitely have to order an old-fashioned. Sherry, you have given me not one, but 2 old-fashions?
Every night we're open, we have double bubble from 4:30 to 5:30. Whatever you order, you get it doubled.
That's a deal. Well, cheers.
Cheers.
I can taste the cinnamon, the bitters. It's really refreshing. And I heard that when I come to Wisconsin's Northwoods, I have to go to a supper club, and this one is very authentic. What is this supper club tradition? Tell me about it.
When you come in, typically you go to the bar, you don't go to your table, and you have your drinks, whether it's one or two. You place your order in the bar with the waitress, and then someone will seat you at a table. Soup, salad, potato, and homemade bread here are all included with your entree. And then you have your dinner and enjoy the experience.
This tradition of supper clubs, where did it start?
In Wisconsin, I think it was because of all the farming. When they got done in their farms, they wanted a good drink before dinner. And back in the day, it was called highballs. So, and I think it just continued on.
Well, it sounds like it'll continue in your family.
Yeah.
So thanks for passing it on. Oh, we're drinking these.
Yeah.
I need some food to go with these old fashions. And I can tell you one thing. They do not skimp on the portions here at Weatherwood Supper Club. Northern Wisconsin is known for its abundant rivers and lakes. I'm going kayaking on the Namakagon River with Mary Motif.
Gorgeous. You ready for a nice paddle?
Yes, show me how it's done. Known as Wisconsin's moving national park, this 99.5-mile-long river is a northern tributary to the St. Croix River. Mary, how have they used this river throughout time?
You know, one of the biggest uses of this river was for sending logs downriver, and they would have just millions and millions of logs. You know, you hear the term log jam. There used to be like some amazing log jams on this river. It was a really important route for missionaries and explorers and fur traders. Presidents have paddled the Namakagon, and it eventually joins with the St. Croix. It's quite a long paddle if you are a paddler and want a really great adventure, or if you just want to get out and do a little easy paddle, you know, you can come and do that too.
Protected under the St. Croix National Scenic Riverway, the Namakagon is one of our nation's 8 original national wild and scenic rivers. What seems really neat about this part of the river, though, is you and I are not experienced kayakers, let's just say that.
That's an understatement. Yes.
And but it feels very comfortable also because you're so close to the shoreline.
And you can literally see the bottom of the river.
Yeah.
You know that you're able to jump out if you needed to. And there's not a lot of major rapids in this section at all. It's just really peaceful. The National Park Service before you head out, because we do have enough water to get over those rocks, but there may be days when you're walking your boat over those.
Okay. It's quite the adventure, and thankfully ends with a quieter section. Great for contemplation and a bit of a break before my next excursion. I've been kayaking around Cable, Wisconsin, an area known for its water and land trails. Mountain bikers flock here too, to ride trails that a group of volunteers from the Schwamigan Area Mountain Bike Association, CAMBA, help maintain. I'm picking up a bike in Hayward, where bike rental shops are accessible for travelers, and riding out with Ron Bergen, a biking enthusiast and former executive director of CAMBA. CAMBA's trail network around Cable and Hayward in the Schwamigan-Nicolet National Forest is recognized by the International Mountain Biking Association as a bronze-level ride center. Ron, how does your organization work to maintain these trails? There's so many.
You know, we work closely with the local land managers, including the Schwamigan-Nicolet National Forest. They've been very cooperative. Let us build the trails in the first place and to get out and keep the trails maintained.
What's the area mountain biking community like here?
Well, we have a real avid biking community in general, but mountain biking, road biking, gravel riding. This area has become a big destination thanks to these trails. This is a glaciated area, so there's a lot of glacial features and a lot of lakes that were left behind after the glaciers. Some areas are very hilly, others are much flatter. It's not super flat anywhere you go, though, that's for sure.
We hop off our bikes and head into the town of Cable to refuel.
So, Darley, the Rivers Eatery has really become the go-to place for mountain bikers and outdoor people in the areas.
Ooh, I'm excited to try it. The jerseys from competitive and pro mountain bikers and cross-country skiers, frequent clients, line the walls here. And wood-fired pizza is as good as the local community who gathers at this treasured pizza place with a selection of Wisconsin beer. Next, I'm headed to a diner in an unlikely location. Delta Diner is located in a remote area of the National Forest and serves up good eats that have attracted Food Network host Guy Fieri to dine here, among others. Todd, this place is abuzz with activity, which is really surprising because we're kind of in the middle of nowhere.
Right, yeah. Well, and it's years of just building.
If you build it, they will come.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I feel like I'm not in Wisconsin. I feel like I'm on the East Coast in like New Jersey in a diner or something like that.
You could not pay us a higher compliment than what you just said, because we love it when people from Jersey and from Philly, from other parts of Pennsylvania, the Mid-Atlantic, they come out here and when they want to come up and shake your hand and say, hey, I never would have expected to have a great diner experience in the middle of the woods of Wisconsin.
I noticed that you have Swedish cream there and also Norwegian hotcakes. So I see a Scandinavian theme going on here.
Absolutely. I am 100% Norwegian on my mother's side, and I grew up with Norwegian pancakes.
I'm actually half Swedish and grew up having Swedish pancakes at my house.
Well, you'll enjoy trying the hotcake because that has powdered sugar on it, and then a little squeeze of lemon, and the jalapenos are pickled jalapenos that go into the batter when it hits the grill. When you flip it, they caramelize and sweeten. So.
Wow. And now it's time for those jalapeno Swedish pancakes.
Chorizo sausage sauce that we put over the top that's nice and smoky, a little bit of heat, it's not overly hot, but all those flavors together kind of just create something different that people remember.
I'm going to take both of these. I'm just kidding. I'll let you have yours. All right, let's try these.
Okay.
Ooh. Wow.
You got one?
I got a jalapeno in there. It definitely clears out your sinuses.
It's great to come back to the things we've been doing for years, because both of these, I would say, are part of what built the diner.
From dining in the woods to dining on a lake. Next, I'm going out with a naturalist to search for loons and taste some unusual plants. But first, I'm volunteering to restore a historic property with HistoriCorps, a nonprofit that preserves historic structures on public lands with the help of volunteers and partner organizations like the Forest Service and National Park Service.
Our model is based on volunteers and Conservation Corps members. So our labor force consists of anywhere between 18-year-olds to retirees, and they come out and spend a week with us at a time. Camp, typically. So we provide basic resources in the sense of training and then food. If there's showers, they provide all the labor.
Well, let's get started. I'm happy to help.
Okay.
Some volunteers with HistoriCorps learn new skills that end up taking them on to new careers and other volunteer opportunities. Dennis takes me to the back of the historic Forest Lodge so I can see how I can help.
So the eaves are the bottom layer. Most of the eaves were completely rotten, and you can see what's left of the old roof. There was a lot of growth. The gutters had trees, little saplings growing out of it.
Yeah. We get to work, and I understand the challenges that go into volunteer activities like this one, but also the friendship, teamwork, and skills learned along the way. Well, it takes a lot of volunteers to do this. I mean, this is not easy work, and you really do have to be careful, but what's cool is that a lot of these people are learning new skills, and sometimes they end up doing whole new careers because of this volunteer experience. So, helping preserve history and learning something new. Next, we're taking to the water to look for loons. diving birds whose ancestors date back tens of millions of years. Emily Stone, a naturalist from the Cable Natural History Museum, is serving as my guide.
Yep, there's a loon. Oh, and a chick just surfaced to the left of the adult. So the chicks are fuzzy and brown. That's a very good sign. They're visual hunters and really good swimmers. Their feet are webbed and really far back on their body, so they can just power. And the fish actually do a zigzag dart to try and escape, and loons cut them off at the pass. And there's a whole progression for the adults teaching the chicks to hunt on their own.
So here we have maybe a mom and the two chicks, or do we know if it's a mom or a dad?
Because they do share their parenting duties 50-50, so this could just as easily be mom or dad.
Very progressive loons. Good to see. The name loon itself sounds loony or crazy. Where does the name come from?
Yeah, so it's related to maybe a Swedish word, lummox or something, that means clumsy, because loons are really clumsy on land. Their legs are so far back on their body in order to give them good swimming power that they just really can't walk on land.
Those loony loons.
Emily's prepared a slightly unusual snack for us to try today: cattails.
So this is the stage that I harvested them at this morning. And so the flower spikes are all wrapped in a husk. It's very much like sweet corn. In a few days, this would expand, and so the male flowers that we're eating end up turning into pollen and releasing all of their pollen. And then you end up with this, which is what we often see in fall arrangements or whatever. So,
have people been eating cattails for a long time?
Oh yeah, forever. I mean, this is definitely a Native American food.
How did you prepare these, Emily?
These, I peeled off the outer leaves and I boiled them for 10 minutes, just like you would sweet corn. And then I usually eat them with butter and salt.
Those are good. It tastes to me a little like edamame.
Yeah, I think they're great. Tastes to me a lot like broccoli, and they're packed with protein because there's developing pollen in there and other nutrients as well, just like any vegetable.
Cattails, who knew? I guess the Native Americans.
Thousands of people for thousands of years.
For more wildlife adventures, I'm heading to the area around Clam Lake to look for elk. Elk once roamed this part of Wisconsin, but died out in the mid to late 1800s due to habitat decline and unregulated hunting. In 1995, a reintroduction program began. Forest Service District Wildlife Biologist Carrie Nelson explains.
This is the area where they were first reintroduced.
Correct. The wildlife opening to our right is actually the site of the first release site.
Why was this area chosen as a site to do this reintroduction?
Well, this site originally belonged to the Navy, and it was called the ELF line. ELF stands for extra low frequency, and it's a location that the Navy would use for sending signals through the bedrock to communicate with submarines around the world. As technology improved, they had better ways of communication, no longer needed this site, and so when they abandoned it, they relinquished it to the Forest Service.
So it's getting recycled.
Exactly. We still maintain it in an open state for the purposes of elk habitat, wildlife habitat. It's a large travel corridor, which elk need large open areas. This is a perfect spot for them.
So this is an elk highway at dusk, probably, and in the morning.
Yep, you could call it that.
Wildlife biologist Josh Spiegel takes me on a ride to search for elk.
There she is right there.
And we spot one on the trails in this area where travelers and residents can now, over 130 years later, hear the sound of bugling elk. I'm meeting up with Ed Ronkowski to hike along the North Country Trail, a national scenic trail that stretches 4,700 miles across 8 states.
I've done backpacking on this trail 3 times, hiked the entire trail in sections.
So you have a lot of experience on the North Country Trail.
Yes. yes, I do.
All right.
the North Country Trail offers opportunities both for long-distance hiking and for day hikes.
Well, the North Country Trail is the longest of the 30 national trails. It goes from New York to South Dakota.
So I can pick it up back home.
Yes.
We make our way to the shores of Lake Owen to take in views of a relatively undeveloped lake area.
It's beautiful. I mean, I think of Minnesota as having so many lakes, but now being up here in the North Woods, I think of Wisconsin as having, you guys, so many lakes.
Yeah, this is unique in that there's a large portion of the lake that's in the national forest. You can't build a house there. And then you've got some people from Racine, affluent families, that bought up huge sections, and they only got one house in 1,000 feet. So you have the density here is much less than all the other lakes.
To explore another aspect of lake life, I'm heading out fishing on Butternut Lake with Dan Johnston, whose work with Wisconsin-based St. Croix Rods provides us with many choices for gear today.
Wow. How do you choose?
Well, you don't really know how to choose. That's why it's loaded like this. I mean, if I knew 100% what we were going to catch them on, I'd have brought one little bag of something, right? But you don't.
Butternut Lake has a variety of fish, including panfish, smallmouth bass, northern pike, and walleye.
They took the fish out of the lake today. I think they all got eaten at the Friday fish fry.
But we're not having much luck catching any. Until...
See, there's a fish right above those weeds. See, oh, goodness, did you see that?
Oh.
Well, this is a northern pike.
Ooh, that's a beautiful fish.
And these things are in almost every lake in Wisconsin.
It's catch and release.
That was cool.
Off to a good start.
Good cast.
I didn't really know that much about log rolling before I started to plan this trip to Wisconsin. But when Brian Duffy, who is the 5-time log rolling champion of the world, invited me to learn a little bit about log rolling from him, I couldn't pass him up. And it's gonna be a wet experience.
I'm diving in at the Lumberjack Bowl, the site of the Lumberjack World Championships, a competition involving sawing, chopping, speed climbing, boom running, log rolling, and more.
I feel like I'm back at like summer camp. I do.
They have log rolling at summer camps around here.
Really? Oh, it's kind of cold.
Oh, come on.
Brian Duffy and his daughter Claudia, who also competes, are teaching me the working skills of the American lumberjack of yesteryear, who took logs down Wisconsin rivers like the Namakagon in the 19th century.
You're scaring me, Claudia, because you're like, I know you're good at this, and you're looking a little wobbly on that log. I'm just gonna.
No, it's because he's holding it.
But don't try to force the log.
This is the smallest log, or the biggest log.
So it's the easiest log.
It helps if you look down here already.
Okay.
So stand up.
Okay.
Your right arm back, left arm forward.
Yep, there you go.
Bend your knees.
Okay.
And
a
then
little
look down at my hands.
Bring your,
okay.
Put
your feet are gonna move like this.
Feet together a little bit.
Quick.
Darling, feet together. 1,
Okay.
2, 3. Quick.
There you go.
Your knees.
Good.
Roll shoulders down.
Tighten that cord.
Yeah, right.
Okay, look down here at my hands. And move your feet like this. Quick.
Shoulders down, shoulders down.
There you go.
This is really hard.
It's harder
Because
to
the
go
logs
backward.
moving this way and up and down.
Not one to give up easily. I keep trying.
That was the longest one.
That was, something.
That is, until a full body fall drenches my director of photography's wireless microphone.
Quick. That's what I was afraid of.
I'm out.
All in all, I'd say these Wisconsin residents really do love the challenges that time in the great outdoors can present, whether they're log rolling, mountain biking, or kayaking. And that's a pretty cool way to live.
I have certainly tried a lot of different outdoor adventures here in the North Woods of Wisconsin. But if you hang with the locals, that's exactly what you're gonna do. I'm CharleyNewman, and I'll see you on the trails.
It's not easy trucking through the Pachysandra.
To do the supper club, it is the quintessential experience. And I'm at one that I hear,
From research now that loons spent their... Can I start over?
Yeah. I'm like, did we pass the out point? We couldn't. Okay. Baby steps for real.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode on my channel. I'm Lola Sparks, and in today's episode, I'm answering some of the most commonly asked fan questions that I receive from you guys. So stay tuned and let's get started. My teeth. you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys.